Good evening, chaps. Now I need to say a few things before we get to today's topic. If you don't care to hear it, you can skip to whatever this is. Now, if you read the description of the last episode, then you'll know that I'm now using my laptop for editing the episodes, but I'm still using the old computer for recording them. The reason behind this was because I don't want the episodes to be in HD yet until we get to Season 9. However though, because I edited with the laptop, they are now in 720p on YouTube. They can be viewed in that resolution if you want to. So I don't know if me recording with the laptop instead is gonna make it to 1080p or even higher, I don't know. But the point is, I said there would be 3 new things added to Behemoth Blogmaster in Season 9. Well, that may only be reduced to 2. But even still, that's a huge leap, so don't freak out too much. Don't cry, we're good. And also, I'm starting to realize that the theme for the episodes is starting to get a little annoying. So if I could, I'm probably just gonna lower it down even less, so you barely hear it. Sometimes the music gets in the way, so for this episode and future episodes, I'm gonna try to fix that. So without further ado, let's get started with the episode. Now, arcades in the 80s and 90s were way different than the ones today. Back then it was about playing good old video games, and just trying to beat your high score to whoever had it last time. And most of the time, there are actual video games, like Mario Bros, Pac-Man, Galaga, and a bunch more that have been ported to home consoles. It was rarely about the prizes you win, it's just about going to have fun. Nowadays, it freaking sucks, because arcades these days focus too much on just playing the game to get the tickets that it prints out, and going to take them to the booth with the prizes, even though you could just buy them for cheaper at a store. Or even online. Yeah, it can still be about high scores, but most of the time it's about the tickets. And they don't give a crap about who's the best or not. Now look, if you're a little ass kid, I'm sure you enjoy it, and I'm not gonna crap all over you, but it was way better back then, okay? But we're not exactly here to talk about the arcade though. We're here to talk about something that pretty much every arcade in the whole world has. Unless of course it's been stolen, but if that's not the case, every arcade has one of these. Most of them. Like 99.9%. Just like how the majority of chemistry classes in the world have that elements table picture on the wall. Unless of course somebody just ripped it up and they have to buy a new one and they didn't have one at that moment in time. But if that's not the case, every freaking one of them has that. Well, if you haven't figured it out yet, it's the claw machine, ladies and gentlemen. Woohoo! You learned it. I'm sure that most of you guys have seen one of these before in your life. Even if you don't like to go to the arcade, they're still at like restaurants and stuff. Not all restaurants, but they're in all sorts of places. So it's kind of unavoidable to just see one just lying around. They are designed to piss you the hell off. Because for anybody who has tried one of them out, you'll know that it'll move the claw perfectly fine, it'll drop perfectly fine, it'll grab perfectly fine, but then it just lets go at the last few seconds. People would say it's unfair and rigged to crap. But here's the thing, guys. Depending on the prizes that are in there, whether it be a cheap-ass teddy bear or a freaking expensive-ass video game console, or at the very least a phone or a laptop or whatever, which is probably more expensive than a console, but I digress. Depending on what the prizes are, it's going to be more unfair. Which, if you ask me, is totally fair. Think about it, like, if it was full of a bunch of jewelry, electronics, and all this cool crap, they don't want you just putting 1 quarter in there and just grabbing as much as you want, 1 quarter after another. And you spend like, what, $5 and get 20 of those good-ass prizes. No, man. It's gotta be rigged. They make it like that on purpose because, I mean, if it's something cheap and if it's at a little kid's place, it'll probably be programmed to be fair and actually have a grip on it. But even in some places with plushes that aren't that exciting anyway, it'll still be unfair. And to make matters worse, if you don't live in the States with the 3 fingers, those claws, you know, and if you live in Asia with the claw machines, you're probably going to have 2 fingers. A lot of places in Asia have those UFO claw machine things that only have 2 fingers. So chances are you'll have even less of a grip over there. And why are there UFOs in Asia? I thought they only landed in the US. I'm just joking. I don't even know if they landed anywhere, but I digress. On Earth, that is. The point is, yes, a claw machine is going to be kind of unfair. Because they don't want you just taking a bunch of prizes one quarter after another. It's got to be a bit more than that. But then you see times where, randomly, it has a perfect grip and your prize actually does come. I have won a prize from a claw machine before. It is possible. In fact, we're going to go a little bit off topic, but remember that big bass wheel with the, when you win all the tickets and crap? I have won the 1,000 tickets slot twice in my life. I am not kidding. I would explain the scenarios, but we need to get back to the claw machines. So yeah, like I just said, randomly it can have a perfect grip, but most of the time it's so wimpy and just fakes you out. Well guys, let me tell you something. And you could also find this information that I'm about to tell you in other places on YouTube, but if you want to hear it from me, then let's go. There's a computer in today's claw machines that read the quarters, right? Say your item you're trying to get is worth like, what, 10 bucks at a retailer or whatever kind of place. So how many quarters is that, like 40? Well, for 1 out of 40 of those quarters, it's gonna randomly have a strong grip. And you think, oh, okay, well I can just keep spinning quarters, and on that, like, say, 38th quarter every time, I can just expect to get the prize. But guess what? It randomizes each quarter. So it could be the first quarter, the second quarter, the 20th quarter. It could be just a random quarter every time. So you can't predict if you can actually get a strong grip or not. It randomizes it every time. Okay, that right there is called rigged. And that's also kind of gamble-ish. That's not even a word, is it? But why can't all the freaking grips be wimpy and pathetic? Why is it just that one quarter that makes it really strong? I don't actually know the answer to that, but they don't want claw machines to be impossible. They just want them to be kind of hard. You know what I mean? I mean, if it were impossible, then nobody would play it. Probably. I mean, when I won my Super Mario question block from a claw machine in Florida one time, they said, well, you actually get to pick one of the prizes that are on the shelf, not one of the actual prizes in the pit. And to me, that just made no sense. There was no sign that said that was the rules. Like, are you crapping me? But thankfully, this one occasion, they did let me keep the Mario question block. They didn't have much exciting stuff on the shelf. It would have been more exciting just on the floor of the claw machine. I mean, they did have a Yeti mug, which I hear is a very good and awesome kind of cup. But for souvenir purposes, I would rather have the question mark block than just something I'm going to use probably regularly. But that was this episode, and I know I'm being abrupt, which is kind of a bad habit of mine. But yeah, tell me what kind of things you've won from a claw machine, if any, and your luck will run out. So I will see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.